If you're over 60 and you wake up with swollen feet or ankles, let me start by saying this clearly and respectfully. This is not something you should simply accept as normal aging. What actually surprised even me, as a medical professional reviewing the latest research on circulation and aging, is how many seniors are given reassurance instead of real solutions. You're often told, that's just part of getting older, or, put your feet up and live with it. But when researchers looked deeper, they discovered something important. Most morning foot swelling is not caused by age alone. It's caused by what happens in the hours before you go to sleep. As we age, circulation becomes more sensitive to inactivity. The small muscles in your feet and calves, especially the ones responsible for pushing fluid back up toward the heart, become less active at night. When that happens, fluid pools downward. Gravity takes over. By morning, your feet feel heavy, tight, and uncomfortable. This doesn't just affect comfort. It affects balance, confidence, and safety. Swollen feet make it harder to stand up steadily, harder to walk first thing in the morning, and harder to trust your body. That's why addressing this issue isn't about looks, it's about independence. The encouraging news is this. Studies involving thousands of older adults show that small, gentle bedtime adjustments can significantly reduce overnight swelling, sometimes within days. These are not intense exercises. They are not risky movements. And they do not require you to be fit. They work because they support how the aging body actually functions. Before we go any further, let's pause for a moment. Before we begin, tell us your age and where you're watching from. We read and replied to every comment. Now, in the next part, I want to gently challenge a belief many well-meaning seniors hold, one that may actually be slowing your progress without you realizing it. Now that you understand why foot swelling isn't simply a normal part of aging, let's talk about a belief many well-intentioned seniors hold, one that sounds logical, but often misses the real problem. Most people are told, just walk more. Walking is healthy. There's no question about that. It supports the heart, keeps joints moving, and improves mood. But here's what the research reveals, and this surprised many clinicians when it first became clear. Walking alone often does not solve nighttime foot swelling after 60. Here's why. Walking mainly works the larger muscles of the legs. It does very little for the small stabilizing muscles in the feet and ankles, which are the ones responsible for pushing fluid upward when you're resting. If those muscles remain inactive in the evening hours, fluid still pools, no matter how many steps you took earlier in the day. Another issue is timing. Many seniors walk in the morning or afternoon, then spend long periods sitting or reclining in the evening. By the time bedtime arrives, circulation has slowed again. The body enters rest mode without proper preparation, and gravity does the rest. That's why some people walk faithfully every day and still wake up with swollen feet. This isn't a failure on your part. It's a missing piece. Large studies following thousands of adults over 60 found that targeted evening habits, even when they lasted just a few minutes, were more effective at reducing overnight swelling than walking alone. When those habits activated the ankles, calves, breathing patterns, and sleep positioning, fluid movement improved dramatically by morning. This is an important shift in thinking. The goal is not more effort. The goal is the right support at the right time. When seniors stop blaming themselves and instead support their circulation before sleep, swelling becomes something that can be managed, not endured. And this matters deeply, because swollen feet don't just feel uncomfortable. They affect how steady you feel when you stand up, how confident you are walking, and how safe your mornings begin. In the next part, I'll explain why this matters so much for everyday independence, and how foot swelling quietly increases the risk of imbalance if it's ignored. How foot swelling affects balance, safety, and independence. Now that we've reframed why walking alone often doesn't solve foot swelling, it's important to understand why this issue deserves your attention in the first place. Because swelling isn't just a comfort problem, it's a stability problem. When fluid collects in the feet and ankles overnight, it changes how your body senses the ground. The soles of your feet become less responsive. The ankles feel stiff. The brain receives weaker signals about balance and position. As a result, the very first steps you take in the morning become the most dangerous. This is when many seniors feel unsteady getting out of bed, hesitant walking to the bathroom, or unsure standing at the sink. It's not weakness. It's not clumsiness. It's temporary loss of sensory feedback caused by swelling. What makes this especially concerning is that balance relies on fast communication between the feet, legs, and brain. Swelling slows that communication down. Even mild swelling can reduce ankle mobility, delay muscle response, and increase the time it takes to catch yourself if you stumble. That's why studies consistently show that seniors with frequent lower leg swelling are more likely to avoid movement in the morning. They shuffle instead of step. They hold onto furniture. They delay activity until later in the day. Over time, this pattern quietly chips away at confidence. And confidence matters. When you don't trust your feet, you move less. When you move less, circulation worsens. And when circulation worsens, swelling increases. It becomes a cycle, one that many people never realize they're trapped in. The good news is that this cycle can be interrupted. Research following older adults found that when overnight swelling was reduced, even modestly, morning balance improved almost immediately. People stood up faster. They walked with more assurance. They felt safer starting their day. That's why addressing foot swelling isn't about vanity or discomfort. It's about preserving independence, mobility, and peace of mind. And the most encouraging part is this: the changes that help are not extreme. They don't require strength, speed, or endurance. They simply guide your body into a better resting state before sleep. In the next part, we'll take a moment to remove fear and uncertainty, because before we talk about solutions, you deserve to feel safe, supported, and confident trying them. Why these fixes are safe even if you haven't exercised in years. Before we talk about specific bedtime fixes, it's important to pause and address something that quietly stops many seniors from taking action. Fear. Fear of falling. Fear of pain. Fear of doing something wrong. If you've ever thought, "I'd rather not risk it," you're not alone, and you're not weak for thinking that way. In fact, caution is often a sign of wisdom. The problem is that fear sometimes prevents people from trying the very habits designed to protect them. What the research consistently shows is that gentle, supported movements are not only safe for older adults, they're essential. The body doesn't lose its ability to adapt after 60. It simply needs clear, calm signals instead of force. That's why the fixes you're about to learn are intentionally slow, controlled, and low impact. They don't rely on strength. They don't require balance challenges. And they don't push joints into uncomfortable ranges. Instead, they work by encouraging fluid movement without strain, activating circulation through minimal effort, supporting natural drainage before the body enters sleep. Many of these methods are already used in physical therapy, post-surgical recovery, and geriatric care. They're designed for people with stiff joints, sensitive feet, limited mobility, or long periods of sitting. If something feels too easy, that's okay. If something feels slightly challenging, that's also okay. What matters is comfort and consistency, not intensity. Another important reassurance is this: you remain in control the entire time. You can do these movements seated, lying down, or with support nearby. There is no need to rush. There is no pressure to keep up. In fact, studies show that slower movements often produce better results in older adults because they give the nervous system time to respond. This improves circulation, reduces tension, and lowers the risk of discomfort. So if you've avoided similar advice in the past because it felt intimidating or unrealistic, I want you to take a breath here. These fixes meet you where you are, not where someone else thinks you should be. Now that fear is out of the way, we can focus on what truly helps. In the next part, we'll begin with the first simple bedtime adjustment, one that gently wakes up circulation in the feet without ever requiring you to stand. The simple ankle reset that prepares your feet for rest. Now that fear and uncertainty are out of the way, we can begin with one of the simplest yet most overlooked bedtime habits for reducing foot swelling. It doesn't require standing, balance, or strength. In fact, you can do it while sitting on the bed or even lying down. This gentle ankle reset works because the ankles act like gatekeepers for circulation. Every time you move them slowly and intentionally, you activate what's known as the calf pump. This pump helps guide fluid upward, away from the feet, before your body settles into sleep. As we age, this pump doesn't turn on automatically anymore, especially in the evening. Hours of sitting, watching television, or reclining allow fluid to drift downward and stay there. By the time you go to bed, your body is already starting the night at a disadvantage. That's why this small adjustment matters so much. By gently moving the ankles before sleep, you're giving your body a clear signal. Circulation is still active, and fluid needs to move. This prepares your legs for rest instead of stagnation. The key is how the movement is done. Slow, controlled motion is far more effective than fast or forceful movement. Pointing the toes forward, then gently pulling them back, followed by small, relaxed circles, encourages fluid movement without irritating the joints. There's no need to push into discomfort. Comfort is the goal. Many seniors notice that when they do this consistently, their feet feel lighter before sleep, and less stiff when they wake up. Shoes fit more comfortably. Standing up feels steadier. Mornings begin with less hesitation. What's especially encouraging is that this habit doesn't require perfect execution. Even a minute or two is enough to make a difference. The body responds to intention, not intensity. And because this reset is done before bed, it works with your natural rhythms. Instead of fighting gravity all night, you help your body start the night in a better position. This is not about fixing everything at once. It's about stacking small advantages that add up. In the next part, we'll build on this foundation by looking at how leg elevation, when done correctly, can either help or quietly worsen foot swelling overnight. Why leg elevation helps only when it's done the right way. After gently waking up circulation in the ankles, many seniors move on to the next common habit, raising the legs before bed. On the surface, this makes sense. Elevation feels relieving. It takes pressure off the feet. And in many cases, it truly does help. But here's what most people are never told. How you elevate your legs matters just as much as whether you elevate them at all. One of the most common mistakes is elevating too high or for too long. When the legs are lifted excessively, especially with stiff joints or tight hips, the body can actually respond by tensing up. This tension interferes with fluid movement instead of helping it. Another issue is elevating only the calves while leaving the ankles unsupported, which allows fluid to settle again as soon as the legs are lowered. Proper elevation is about gentle alignment, not dramatic height. When the feet and ankles are supported evenly and the legs are raised just slightly above heart level, gravity assists circulation without stressing the joints. The body relaxes. Breathing deepens. Fluid begins to move naturally instead of being forced. Research involving older adults has shown that short periods of comfortable elevation in the evening are more effective than long, uncomfortable sessions. Just a few minutes can help reduce pressure in the lower legs and prepare the body for rest. Another overlooked detail is timing. Elevating the legs right before sleep works better than doing it earlier in the day. This is because the body transitions directly from circulation support into rest, rather than returning to a seated or reclined position where fluid can pool again. Many seniors report that when elevation is done comfortably and consistently, their feet feel less tight in the morning. Ankles move more freely. Standing feels easier. The benefit is subtle but meaningful. It's also important to remember that elevation should never feel forced. There should be no strain in the lower back, knees, or hips. Comfort signals the nervous system that it's safe to release tension, and that release is what allows circulation to improve. Now that the ankles have been activated and the legs properly supported, there's one more piece that quietly influences overnight swelling, something most people never connect to their feet. In the next part, we'll look at how what you eat and drink in the evening can either help fluid move out, or trap it there until morning. Now that circulation has been gently supported through movement and positioning, it's time to look at another factor that plays a powerful role overnight: what and when you consume in the evening. This is not about strict rules or deprivation. It's about understanding timing. As we get older, the body becomes more sensitive to fluid balance. The kidneys slow slightly at night. Hormones that regulate fluid shift. When certain foods or drinks are consumed too close to bedtime, the body struggles to process them before sleep. The result is simple but frustrating. Fluid stays where gravity pulls it, which is down into the feet and ankles. One of the biggest contributors is excess sodium late in the day. Many common evening foods contain hidden salt, even when they don't taste particularly salty. This causes the body to hold on to water instead of releasing it. By morning, that extra fluid often shows up as swelling. At the same time, some seniors reduce fluid intake too much in the evening, hoping to avoid nighttime bathroom trips. While understandable, this can backfire. When the body senses dehydration, it holds onto fluid more tightly, increasing the likelihood of swelling. Balance is the key. Research shows that earlier hydration paired with lighter, lower sodium evening meals supports better overnight fluid movement. When the body isn't struggling to process excess salt or compensate for dehydration, circulation improves naturally during rest. This doesn't mean you need to overhaul your diet. Small adjustments, like finishing heavier meals earlier, choosing simpler evening foods, and spacing fluids more evenly throughout the day, often make a noticeable difference. Many seniors report waking up with less tightness in their feet simply by shifting when they eat, not what they eat. What's important here is kindness toward yourself. These changes are about supporting your body, not restricting it. The goal is to make nighttime easier on your system so your feet don't pay the price by morning. Now that movement, positioning, and nourishment are working together, there's one more powerful and often ignored factor that directly influences circulation from head to toe. In the next part, we'll explore how the way you breathe before sleep can dramatically affect fluid movement in your legs, without any effort at all. At this point, you may be surprised to hear this, but one of the most powerful tools for reducing foot swelling doesn't involve the feet at all. It involves how you breathe before going to sleep. Breathing is more than oxygen. It plays a direct role in circulation and fluid movement throughout the body. As we age, breathing often becomes shallower, especially in the evening when we're tired. The chest does more work, while the diaphragm, a large muscle beneath the lungs, becomes less active. This matters because deep, slow breathing creates gentle pressure changes inside the body. These pressure changes act like an internal pump, helping fluid move upward from the legs and feet. When breathing is shallow, that pump weakens and fluid movement slows. Studies involving older adults have shown that slow, diaphragmatic breathing before sleep improves circulation, reduces lower leg fluid buildup, and even supports better sleep quality. It's a quiet but powerful connection that many people never make. What's reassuring is that this doesn't require special techniques or long sessions. Simply slowing the breath and allowing it to deepen naturally is enough to help the body shift into a better resting state. When breathing becomes calmer and deeper, the nervous system relaxes. Blood vessels soften, tension releases from the legs. This creates the conditions your body needs to manage fluid more effectively overnight. Many seniors notice that when they focus on breathing before sleep, their legs feel warmer and lighter. That warmth is a sign that circulation is improving, not through effort, but through relaxation. This is especially helpful if you've ever gone to bed feeling restless or tense. Stress causes the body to hold onto fluid. Calm breathing sends the opposite message: it's safe to let go. The beauty of this approach is that it works alongside everything you've already learned. After gentle ankle movement, comfortable elevation, and thoughtful evening nourishment, breathing ties it all together. It signals the body to finish the day properly. Now that circulation has been supported through movement, positioning, nourishment, and breath, we're ready to move into habits that strengthen the legs without pressure or tight garments. In the next part, we'll look at how gentle muscle engagement, without compression socks, can further reduce overnight swelling while keeping your feet comfortable and relaxed. By now, you may notice a pattern. Reducing foot swelling isn't about forcing fluid out, it's about encouraging the body to move it naturally. That's where gentle muscle engagement comes in. Many seniors are told to wear compression socks. For some, they help. But for others, they feel tight, uncomfortable, or difficult to put on. Sensitive skin, neuropathy, or reduced hand strength can make them frustrating. Fortunately, there's another option that works with the body instead of squeezing it. Muscles are natural pumps. When they contract and relax, even gently, they help guide fluid upward. The key is that the movement doesn't need to be strong. It needs to be intentional and relaxed. Simple actions like lightly pressing the feet into the mattress, gently tightening and releasing the calves, or slowly pointing and flexing the toes activate circulation without any external pressure. These movements remind the body to keep fluid moving before sleep. What makes this especially effective in the evening is that the body is already transitioning into rest. Gentle engagement signals circulation without raising heart rate or causing fatigue. It's a quiet reminder rather than a workout. Research involving older adults shows that low-level muscle engagement improves venous return and reduces nighttime fluid pooling. Participants who used gentle movements before bed often reported less tightness, reduced heaviness, and more comfortable mornings. Another benefit is awareness. When you engage the muscles lightly, you reconnect with your feet and legs. This improves nerve signaling and prepares the brain for better balance the next day. It's important to keep these movements slow and comfortable. There should be no cramping, strain, or urgency. Think of it as waking the muscles just enough to let them do their job. For many seniors, this becomes a calming routine. It provides a sense of control and reassurance, something proactive and gentle that supports the body rather than pushing it. Now that muscle engagement is working alongside breathing, movement, and positioning, there's one more nighttime factor that can either support or undermine all of these efforts. In the next part, we'll look at how your sleeping position and small alignment adjustments can make a meaningful difference in how your feet feel by morning. By the time you're ready to sleep, everything you've done so far has prepared your body to rest well. But there's one final detail that often determines whether those efforts last through the night: how your body is positioned while you sleep. Sleep position matters more than most seniors realize. Even when circulation is supported before bed, poor alignment during sleep can quietly reverse those benefits. Pressure points, twisted ankles, or uneven support can restrict fluid movement for hours at a time. One common issue is allowing the feet to drop downward during sleep. When the ankles point toward the mattress for long periods, fluid tends to settle again. Another issue is crossing the legs or letting one foot rest on top of the other, which can compress blood vessels and slow circulation. The goal isn't to force yourself into an uncomfortable position. The goal is neutral alignment. When the legs are supported evenly and the ankles are allowed to rest in a relaxed, slightly elevated position, the body maintains better circulation throughout the night. A small pillow or folded blanket placed thoughtfully can make a noticeable difference without disrupting comfort. Many seniors find relief simply by supporting the lower legs so the feet aren't hanging downward. This reduces pressure in the ankles and allows fluid to continue moving gently while you sleep. It also helps the muscles and joints relax more fully. Side sleepers can benefit from placing a pillow between the legs to keep the hips and knees aligned. This prevents twisting that can restrict circulation. Back sleepers often do well with light support under the calves, allowing the heels to rest without pressure. What's important is listening to your body. Comfort is not optional, it's essential. When the body feels supported, the nervous system relaxes, breathing deepens, and circulation improves naturally. Studies involving older adults show that comfortable sleep alignment is associated with reduced morning stiffness and swelling. Participants often report waking up feeling lighter, steadier, and more confident standing up. These changes may seem small, but remember, sleep lasts for hours. Even gentle improvements, when held overnight, can have a powerful effect. Now that your body is supported through movement, nourishment, breathing, muscle engagement, and sleep position, we're ready to bring everything together. In the next part, we'll combine these ideas into a simple, 2-minute bedtime routine that helps reset circulation and sets you up for a better morning, without effort or stress. At this point, you've learned several gentle adjustments that support circulation in different ways. Now it's time to bring them together into one simple routine, something that feels manageable, calming, and easy to remember. This 2-minute bedtime reset works because it doesn't rely on just one method. Instead, it layers small signals that tell your body it's safe to move fluid out of the feet before rest begins. The first part is awareness. Sitting or lying comfortably, take a moment to notice your feet. Many seniors are surprised to realize how tense or disconnected their feet feel by the end of the day. Simply noticing this begins to restore communication between the feet and the brain. Next comes gentle movement. A few slow ankle motions, pointing, flexing, or relaxed circles, activate circulation without effort. This reminds the calf muscles to assist fluid movement one last time before sleep. There's no need to count repetitions. A calm rhythm is enough. Then comes positioning. With the legs comfortably supported, the body receives help from gravity without strain. This creates a pathway for fluid to move upward naturally. Breathing ties it all together. Slow, steady breaths signal the nervous system to relax. Tension releases from the legs. Blood vessels soften. The body shifts from holding on to letting go. What makes this reset so effective is consistency. When done nightly, it teaches the body a new pattern. Over time, circulation becomes more responsive. Swelling becomes less frequent. Mornings feel easier. Many seniors who adopt this routine describe waking up with lighter feet, improved balance, and less hesitation when standing. These changes may feel subtle at first, but they add up. This reset is not about perfection. Some nights you may do more, some nights less. What matters is that you're sending your body a supportive message before rest. And perhaps most importantly, this routine restores a sense of control. Instead of hoping swelling improves, you're actively guiding your body toward better outcomes. Now that you have a simple, complete approach, the next step is understanding how slow, intentional pacing helps your nervous system lock in these improvements safely. In the next part, we'll explore why moving slowly, especially at night, actually leads to better results for aging circulation and balance. By now, you may have noticed that none of these bedtime fixes rely on speed or effort. That's intentional. As the body ages, it responds far better to slow, controlled movement than to anything rushed or forceful. Fast movements can feel efficient, but they often bypass the nervous system's ability to coordinate properly. When movements are slow, the brain has time to register what's happening in the feet, ankles, and legs. This improved communication helps muscles activate in the right sequence, which supports circulation more effectively. Slower movement also keeps joints safe. Ankles and feet contain many small structures that become stiffer with age. Moving slowly allows these tissues to warm and respond without irritation. This reduces the risk of discomfort and makes the body more willing to participate. Research involving older adults consistently shows that slow, controlled motion increases time under tension in a gentle way. This helps muscles assist fluid movement without fatigue. It also encourages blood vessels to respond calmly, improving circulation rather than stressing it. Another benefit of slow pacing is confidence. When movement feels manageable, fear decreases. Seniors are more likely to continue a routine that feels safe and predictable. Consistency, not intensity, is what leads to lasting improvement. Many people are surprised to discover that slowing down actually makes their body feel lighter. The feet respond better. Balance improves. Swelling becomes less stubborn. This happens because the body isn't being startled, it's being guided. At night, slow movement is especially important. The body is transitioning into rest. Gentle pacing supports that transition instead of disrupting it. This allows the nervous system to settle, which further improves fluid regulation during sleep. If you've ever felt hesitant to try new routines because they seemed rushed or overwhelming, this approach respects your pace. It honors where you are now, not where someone else thinks you should be. Slow movement is not a limitation. It's a strategy. Now that you understand why pacing matters, the next step is knowing how to build on these habits gradually, without doing too much, too fast. In the next part, we'll talk about how to progress gently over time so your body continues to improve without strain or frustration. One of the biggest concerns seniors have when they start a new routine is this: how do I know I'm not doing too much? That question matters, because progress after 60 is not about pushing harder, it's about allowing the body to adapt at its own pace. The encouraging truth is that your body is still capable of change. It simply responds best to gradual signals instead of sudden demands. When circulation improves slowly and consistently, the body accepts it as safe and sustainable. Progress does not mean adding more steps all at once. It means noticing how your body responds. If your feet feel lighter in the morning, if standing feels steadier, if shoes feel more comfortable, that's progress. Those signs matter more than numbers or time spent. Many seniors make the mistake of trying to do everything perfectly every night. That often leads to fatigue or frustration. A better approach is to start with just one or two of the bedtime habits that feel most comfortable. Once those feel natural, another can be added. Research on aging consistently shows that small habits repeated regularly lead to better outcomes than larger efforts done inconsistently. The body learns through repetition. Each calm night reinforces the next. It's also important to understand that progress is not always linear. Some mornings will feel better than others. That doesn't mean the routine isn't working. It means the body is adjusting, responding, and learning. Listening to your body builds trust. When you trust your body, you move more confidently. And when confidence increases, circulation improves even further. This gentle approach protects you from burnout. It keeps routines enjoyable rather than stressful. And most importantly, it supports long-term independence. If you've ever stopped a program because it felt like too much, this method is different. It gives you permission to move forward without pressure. As these habits become part of your evenings, something else begins to happen. You start to feel connected to a larger group of people making the same effort to age well. In the next part, we'll pause to reflect on that shared experience and invite you into a community where encouragement, understanding, and support make the journey easier and more meaningful. As you've listened through these chapters, it's important to pause and recognize something meaningful. Many people are dealing with the same challenges you are. Foot swelling, morning stiffness, balance concerns. These are shared experiences among seniors, even though they're rarely talked about openly. One of the hardest parts of aging is feeling like you're facing changes on your own. When discomfort shows up quietly, it's easy to assume everyone else is doing fine. But research and real-world experience show the opposite. Millions of adults over 60 are navigating similar issues every day, often without guidance or reassurance. That's why community matters. When people share their experiences, something powerful happens. Fear softens, shame fades, confidence grows. Simply knowing that others understand what you're going through can make it easier to take action and stick with gentle routines like the ones you've learned. Many seniors who improved their swelling and balance say that encouragement played a key role. Reading comments, hearing familiar stories, and realizing they're not alone gave them the motivation to keep going, even on days when progress felt slow. Community also brings perspective. One person might notice improvement after a few nights. Another may need a bit longer. Seeing that range of experiences helps set realistic expectations and reduces frustration. It's also a reminder that aging well is not about perfection. It's about shared learning, patience, and kindness toward yourself. When you take part in conversation, by sharing your age, where you're watching from, or what you've noticed about your feet, you contribute to that environment of support. Your comment may be exactly what someone else needs to read to feel encouraged. And there's something else that happens when seniors engage together. It reinforces identity. You're no longer someone putting up with discomfort. You're someone actively learning how to care for your body in a thoughtful, respectful way. That mindset shift is powerful. As we move into the final part, we'll step back and look ahead. Because what you're doing now isn't just about tomorrow morning, it's about the version of yourself you're choosing to support in the years to come. In the next and final chapter, we'll talk about long-term independence, confidence, and how these small nightly habits shape the future you walk into each day. As we come to the end of this conversation, it's worth stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. Everything you've learned tonight isn't just about reducing foot swelling by morning. It's about how you want to move, feel, and live in the years ahead. Many seniors don't think in days or weeks anymore. They think in seasons and milestones. Will I feel steady next year? Will I still be confident walking on my own? Will my body support the life I want to live? These questions matter. What often determines the answers isn't one big decision or dramatic change. It's the small habits you repeat quietly, especially at night, when the body prepares for repair and renewal. When you support circulation before sleep, you're not just helping your feet. You're helping your balance, your confidence, and your sense of control. You're choosing to wake up feeling more stable instead of hesitant, more capable instead of cautious. That choice adds up. Over time, these small nightly habits can be the difference between starting your day with confidence or starting it with uncertainty. Between walking freely or reaching for support sooner than you'd like. Between trusting your body or feeling limited by it. And here's the most important part. It's never too late to start. The body responds at any age when it feels supported rather than pushed. You don't need perfection. You don't need to do everything every night. You only need to start where you are. If tonight you remember one gentle habit, that's enough. If tomorrow you add another, that's progress. The future isn't built all at once. It's built one calm, intentional evening at a time. So as you head toward sleep tonight, remember this. You are not behind, you are not broken, and you are not done improving. You are still adapting, still learning, still capable. Choose the version of yourself that wakes up feeling steadier, lighter, and more confident. And if this time together helped you, stay connected. Return when you need reassurance. Share what you've noticed. Your journey matters, and it's one worth supporting, night after night.